Hey, my loves. I wanted to make a video real quick on how to discard your spells, your 7-day candles, and things to that nature, because people are a little confused on what to do after the candle burn. And I've gone into some of my own clients' homes and will see 10, 12 candles lined up by the altar, that are all burned out. And you don't want to keep your spells. You don't want to keep your candles. You want to discard them. You want to release that energy. So if you're doing, let's say, attraction work, you're trying to attract love, money, anything, a house. Once you do the spell, depending on the type of spell that you're doing. Now, if the spell is something that is kind of more hoodoo based, where you may have a sash or a jar, something to that nature, of course you're going to keep that. You're going to put that on your altar. You're going to work that every day. Once you've attracted whatever you wanted to attract, you want to discard the spell. So you want to dismantle everything, open it up, thank the universe for whatever it is that they've blessed you with. Sometimes, depending on what you've attracted or what you're trying to attract, let's say this is long-term wealth, you'll want to bury it under a tree that is very fruitful and very beautiful, okay? You don't want to put it under a dead tree. You don't want to put anything that you're trying to attract in the cemetery. You want to put those things under, like in your yard, under a beautiful fruit tree or any type of tree. Okay, but something that's growing and big and fruitful and for long-term wealth. So those are the ways you can discard some light work, or you can just throw it away. Once the candle is burned out, and you take the candle itself and you discard it, and then you'll take the petition and you'll burn the petition. That's your way of finishing off those spells. No. So with light magic, you want to make sure either you're throwing the spell away, you're going to take the spell apart once it's done, or you can bury it in a plant or under a tree, or just in your yard, anywhere that gets a lot of sunlight and that's very fruitful. Okay? Now, if you're doing dark work, that is a whole different ballpark. Even with your 7-day candles for your dark work, you can just throw them away. You can do that. You can leave them at a crossroads. You can put them in a ditch. You can bury them in the cemetery. It's all levels to whatever results you're trying to attract. Now, the main way I would suggest that you do all of your candles is just by throwing them in the trash. When you're done, throw them away. You don't have to harbor them and watch them. What discarding them does is it releases the energy, it finishes the spell, and then you can move on to the next project or the next thing that you're trying to attract. Now, sometimes what I will do, depending on my dark work, I will put it in a freezer. I do that a lot, actually, because it's my step right before I put them in the grave. But it's the step before I put you in the cemetery. So if I'm doing any type of binding work or, gossip work, reversal work, those type of spells I will put in the freezer, or I'll bury them in a dark spot. Okay. Put them in a creek, down a road that I won't travel often. I'll do a crossroads that I don't normally cross, and I'll go and throw them away that way. I do different types of things with my dark work. Both light and dark work can be discarded in a lot of different ways, but the best way to discard your work is just by throwing it away in the trash. You don't have to make it intricate and dramatic unless you feel like the spell calls for that. So if you're looking for big results with money, then you do want to bury it. If it's something like I need a couple $100, even a couple $1,000, you can throw those candles away. Now, if you're doing something where you're, again, long-term wealth, that's when you want to bury it. Generational wealth, you want to bury it on your land, things to that nature. All right, guys? So those are great ways to discard your spells, and you should discard them immediately. Don't hold them. Don't harbor them. If you're going to bury it immediately. Whatever you're going to do with it, once the spell is done and the candle is lit and burned out, do that next thing immediately. Okay? Don't hold spells on your altar for long periods of time. All right, my loves, unless it calls for it. So if it's a 7-day well, however many days, then you'll hold it for that long. But other than that, you move on. All right, and get on to the next thing, because you want the energy to be free. All right, my loves, that's pretty much what I had to say about discarding your spells. If you have any more questions, or if you want to learn how to do any type of healing for yourself, protection for yourself, family, anything to that nature, please check out my Patreon. It is patreon.com/insight by Tesh. And also you can get some more fun tips on my YouTube channel. Thank you guys. I love you, and I'll see y'all in the next video.